Hi, I'm attorney Eric Lewis with Lewis Legal Services in Indianapolis. Another quick video today to update the new national means test numbers that recently were released by the Department of Justice. Now it seems like we were just here making an update, and that's because we were. Usually these numbers are updated twice a year in April and November, but because of the pandemic and issues related to inaccurate census data, we've had some unusual changes. So as many of you may know, the November 2021 numbers were never released and no changes were made until April of 2022. And now because of the rise in inflation, here we are looking at another update in the numbers that goes into effect as of May 15th, 2022. Now, some of these numbers that I'm going to talk about apply to all consumer bankruptcy cases nationwide, and some of them are Indiana specific. If you didn't already know what we're talking about here, the means test is used in bankruptcy for a number of things, but primarily for Chapter 7 cases, it helps determine eligibility based on your current monthly income and expenses and comparing that with state median family income values. And of course, that varies by household size. In Chapter 13 cases, it also helps determine what we call the commitment period, whether your Chapter 13 repayment plan has to be a minimum of 3 years in duration or 5, and how much can you reasonably pay back on your debt through your repayment plan. Okay, so let's take a look at these changes.
So the first thing I want to point out is that the median household income numbers that went into effect on April 1st, 2022, those numbers aren't changing, at least not in Indiana. So let's take a look at what is changing. And these are the means test common expenses that relate to all consumer bankruptcy cases nationwide. So effective May 15th, 2022, for consumer bankruptcy cases, these are the new numbers. If you're an individual filing bankruptcy, your debts are primarily consumer debts and no applicable exemption applies to you, like current service in the military, for example, then you have to take a means test analysis. The means test looks at your income for the 6 calendar months prior to the calendar month in which you file your bankruptcy case. On the expense side of the analysis, the means test uses certain standardized numbers that we call the national living allowance, which is based on your household size. So there are other expenses, of course, that you can take in a means test for Chapter 7 or a determination of disposable income in Chapter 13. Numbers that are unique to you, such as a certain amount of charitable contributions, retirement contributions, what you pay for life insurance or health insurance. But some of these numbers, as you can see here, are basically set by law. There can be some deviation for necessary expenses, but this is basically the expectation. So for means test analysis for eligibility, determination of disposable income in a Chapter 13, or just the general reasonableness of your budget on Schedule J to the bankruptcy paperwork, the court looks at these numbers as a guide to basically determine if your deductions from income are reasonable. Now, whether you agree with these numbers or not, or how realistic they are, that's really an entirely separate discussion. Here, I want to show you the changes from what went into effect April 1st compared to the new numbers that have just gone into effect May 15th. Now, if you've gone out shopping anywhere for anything, then you know that the cost of just about everything is up, way up. So I think they're trying to move in that direction to compensate a little, to come more in line with reality, but as inflation increases, these numbers will have to keep changing as well. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, please contact my office. If you want to stay up to date on developments in bankruptcy law and other related things, click subscribe, and of course, as always, thank you for watching.